For more is Assistant Professor of Middle East Politics at the George Washington University, Sina Azodi. Sina, thank you so much for your time. We've heard Donald Trump say on Air Force One a short time ago that Iran reached out to the United States yesterday for some kind of deal. Apparently, this strongman approach through the media is working. Is that your opinion?
Yes, I think that the president has a peace through strength approach. He likes to take small military actions, decisive, surgical, if you will, and then offer a hand for negotiations. The problem is, though, is that when Iranians and Americans were negotiating in May of 2025, the US attacked Iran in June as Iranians and Americans were getting ready to hold their fifth or sixth round of talks, and that's when the Israelis and the Americans attacked. So really the sticking point over reaching a deal is the issue of enrichment capacity in Iran. The Iranians insist that their interpretation of the NPT is that they have a legal right to do so. The U.S. Legal interpretation is different. The U.S. approach is that the NPT does not explicitly say that you have a right to enrich. And the approach under the Trump administration, at least, is that zero enrichment. And so this is the sticking point between Iranians and Americans over reaching a nuclear deal.
So we're seeing the son of the former Shah very much encouraging Donald Trump now to further support the efforts of the protesters there. What could the US president's next steps be?
Well, President Trump is like an unguided missile, which can go anywhere. He could be meeting with Iranians, or he could be telling the media that he's ready to talk to Iranians, and then all of a sudden strike Iran, as happened in June 2025. There are a wide range of options. One of the things that it was also in your reporting was to offer internet connections to Iranians who are starved of any communications to the outside world. You cannot even call Iran directly on the cell phones because the government has shut down the entire communication systems. And Starlink, I think, is a perfect opportunity, granting general licenses for the American companies to offer technology to Iran, Apple, Google, Microsoft, which because of the U.S. sanctions cannot offer any assistance to ordinary Iranian citizens. So these are some of the things the U.S. can do. There are, more rather kinetic options or military options, ranging from a limited, decapitation attack on the Iranian leadership. It could be a strike on Iranian bases and the units that have been that are culprit in suppressing the Iranian people. Again, it could be many things, but the president, my understanding was that he ruled out the option of boots on the ground.
And we saw during that 12-day war with Iran in June, the US claimed to have wiped out its nuclear sites. Are there other key nuclear sites there that the United States could hit, or as you suggested, perhaps some other integral sites that they're looking at?
Well, the president's claim that the Iranian nuclear program was entirely destroyed was a false claim. Even the DIA chief, the Defense Intelligence Agency's chief, and many independent analysts refuted the president's claim. There are obviously more nuclear facilities that Iran has. They have not been attacked. And even the ones that have been attacked, Iranians are trying to repair them. And hopefully maybe at some point for them, at least, they bring them back in online. Yes, there's there are more unlikely scenarios where the U.S. would launch an attack on a operating nuclear reactor, which is in Bushehr, or other facilities. I don't think the U.S. the Trump administration would want to attack these facilities. Maybe it wants to attack Natanz enrichment facility again, or other facilities.
Well, we'll have to wait to see what that action will be. Donald Trump's certainly not ruling out some kind of strike action, but also clearly approaching things through diplomacy too, with that conversation with Iranian authorities. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and we'll speak soon.
Thanks for having me.